welcome to another episode of the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin network. Thank you guys for tuning in. Samoans talking about sports. We're going to be talking about Darth Vader joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. A little bit of NBA Finals, also updates on the Chargers and Raiders. Here on the Polytickin network, make sure to support the Patreon, patreon.com backslash.
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 I thought I was back at Home Depot. Excuse me, sir. Can you help me find the backsplash?
Backslash the Polytickin Podcast. Listen to all the shows. Polytickin Podcast, Pacifica Movie Starter Kit, Ballinesian Podcast. Definitely follow, subscribe, rate, share. Appreciate you guys for that. We are sponsored by Ayahuasca Island Apparel. Shout out to Brother Uri, LayVasaIslandApparel.com for the website, and also on Instagram at @le_vasa. Got the Via Dolorosa Neighborhood Market happening there in Modesto a couple Saturdays from now, June 21st. They're moving it from 4 to 9, so they get like some of the heat out of the way, but definitely can cool down and stay fed with the vendors that will be there. Definitely follow on Instagram. See the post there for the neighborhood market happening in a couple of weeks.
And this is not me dissing Modesto, but it's hard to cool down in Modesto.
Bro.
It's heat and dust. That's what I think of when I think about Modesto.
Is it like heated up, but like a certain thing that keeps it hot? Or is the whole valley?
California.
Being in California. California. It's that LA's on fire right now? Nah.
Oh, man. It's a different type of fire. I'm not going to get into it because I've been seeing a lot of ignorant posts. And look, I'm not the type of person to go onto your page and argue about things because that's your opinion and that's literally your page. So you can go ahead and put it on there. But if you're about to go on there and talk about facts and all this other stuff, everybody can do that. And everybody can make up their own facts these days. And they're going to have sources that are going to corroborate their facts. And so the other side's going to have the same thing. Oh man. LA
is saying we don't want ICE here. Y'all can leave.
I love that.
Stand up for your neighbors.
I don't stand for the violence. That's crazy because some
Is
of those
violent? They're throwing rocks at windshields. Is it violent? Don't be scared.
No, not that. I mean, because I want like if that was to happen to my community, and I had a bunch of people that were trained and abled by the military before and not in the military, I would have rounded them up, made my own militia, and protected my people.
Oh, you sound like a revolutionist American right now. The militia.
I'm just saying, it's happened before. If I'm trying to protect my people, and a lot of them guys, I love my family. I got a lot of guys in the military that are close to my heart, man. And I'm not against the military. That's not what it is. And ICE is not the military, just to let you guys know.
I don't like this scary cover your face.
And then
the amount of masks, I'm saying, I need to say it somewhere. The amount of masks is
that are being
crazy. Yeah. There's like everyone, why are you covering your face? You're doing a duty. But they're saying, they're getting doxxed. They're, people are identifying them. They're identifying them doing what you're telling them is a lawful order and rounding up.
Exactly. And not only that,
why are you hide? Don't hide.
I get it. There is a process to deportation. There is a process. And that's not the process. That's kidnapping. And to separate kids from their families like that, like some of these youngins, they have nowhere to go. And, you're taking their parents. Some of these guys are documented. But because you're changing the laws
that
now,
too. There's like lawful immigrants that are also being
So like when I hear arguments like, "Oh, they're illegal immigrants," do it the right way. Some of them have. Really. Again, I get it. People want to do their job. You folks in the military, I don't also condone the burning of the flag and spitting on it because, it represents what they are saying it represents to them, something scary, but it also represents a lot of people who folks care for. They kind of fought for the flag. So
your flag, your American flag can be for like sentiment and stuff. And then other people's American flag can be like, this is not the promise. And then burning it is protest, right? And is also protected free speech. But I feel like that's kind of us putting our, sentiments for the flag onto somebody else's property. That's their flag if they want to burn it. It's like it's disrespectful from what we like grew up thinking about,
Yeah.
being national. But
No, I get what you mean. Again, no argument from here. But I'm also one of those guys like you are in America now, so you are American. And some of these guys that are like, if you wanted home so much, and I know your home is, you know what I mean? I know your home is real shitty right now. You can't bring your home with you here. You left your home for a reason.
you think they're
So
bringing shittiness?
no, just
No,
like
I mean like or
their
the
homes
way
are
they're.
shitty. But like, if you're gonna come over here and like, well, in my country, this and that, America sucks. Then why did you come over? Like,
I don't think
I know
there are
you,
a bunch of like undocumented immigrants
there's not a
saying this.
bunch, which is also crazy to me because it's not the undocumented immigrants, it's the ones that are here legally that are against their own people that are saying things like that. So it's a
Oh,
touchy subject for a lot of people. You know where I stand. I know where you stand. We kind of stand together in the same things. Uh, don't be shitty people, folks. Don't be shitty people.
it,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Don't be shitty people.
Uh,
Anyway,
oh
oh
yeah,
yeah,
sports.
sports. Uh, uh, man, how are your Chargers doing, man? It's kind of like a quiet time for us right
Mm.
now for football because like they might be almost done with OTAs right now, and then they're gonna get into like mandatory practices. So you're gonna hear a lot of things like, "Oh, this guy looks great." Against who?
Yeah, not
Again,
in pads against air.
against the coach holding the dummy or the bag? Come on. Like
It's
you
it's
got to take it with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying. But
yeah.
it's also nice to hear, like some of the guys, like I've heard from like a lot of reports, like your O line, who we talk about a lot because that's one of the needs that you've put out there, like Zion Johnson, a guy you guys drafted last year, a lot of potential. Was he a second rounder?
Zion Johnson was a first round pick. I
Oh
think he was
wow.
the last first round pick, or second to the last first round pick for Tom
So
Telesco.
so like third?
So like 3 or 4 years ago,
Okay.
he was our first round pick to be our left guard, and now he's been moved to center after playing what the Jim Harbaugh, the new coach last year. The first season they had Bradley Bozeman at center, but now they flipped Zion Johnson over there, thinking he can handle that responsibility. It's also
Mm,
his third, fourth year, so I feel like this is him growing into like a full professional. Like you might be
right.
have a lot of potential early on, but that you still have to fill out. We see like the rookie photos of a lot of these all pros, and you can tell that there's been like physical development also
Yeah.
as they've grown like over like the next 8 years or whatever. So I feel he's been super underwhelming, especially for a first round pick.
First round pick.
Uh
Yeah.
Penalties, miscues, stuff like that. So to move him over to center is a big ask, but also maybe something that a new level that he can step up to. And the coaching staff definitely thinks that's the best position for him because Bozeman is back, and he was the starting center last year, so they moved Bozeman out. They also signed former Raiders center Andre James, who is going to be like the third center guard there as far as those three players are concerned. So Zion Johnson, starting center, Bradley Bozeman has been mixing in as like the second team center. So Andre James will be third string.
Was that movement to center also created by the Mekhi Becton signing, or does that not do those two things not
But
correlate?
no, I think that the decision to move Zion Johnson to center, I think, was before. Like I definitely heard rumblings before Mekhi Becton was signed.
Mm,
Mekhi Becton, who was also a first round, tackle,
tackle.
but
Yeah.
then moved to right guard to win a Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Now
He
comes
was
to play right
amazing
guard.
last year. Yep, that move really changed the trajectory of his career, honestly.
Well, but then I wonder if there's that versatility, right? Because the man played tackle, but also is an amazing guard, right?
Right.
Big unit next to fifth overall pick Joe Alt from a couple of years ago. Uh, that right side, Jim Harbaugh was recently on the Pat McAfee show, and he was on there Monday, and it was talking about how the Chargers are going to like be right-handed on a lot of their running just behind Joe Alt and talking about Mekhi Becton and what a unit he is. So the offensive line, you have left tackle Rashawn Slater, whose contract's still not finished up. He's asking for top dollar, and the Chargers are kind of, not fully there yet. Hopefully this.
You sound a little irritated that they're not really doing much to try and re-sign him, or at least not no rumblings yet of
it's like not even rumblings of rumblings. It's like they're not. There's no updates on it other than Joe Ortiz a couple of weeks ago was like, yeah, we're gonna get that done. Don't worry about it. So try not to worry about it, but also time keeps on ticking.
Hey, you know what they say, man. Sometimes no news is good news.
Yeah. And then also the Chargers do have this, backup plan in case they're not able to re-sign their all-pro left tackle. They have Joe Alt, who played left tackle for a lot of his career before being moved to right tackle after being drafted by the Chargers. So there is that flexibility in if this, mix with Rashawn Slater doesn't happen, they end up having to trade him away or not willing to commit $30+ million a year or whatever it is. They could just let him go or trade him away and have Joe Alt play left tackle and then just find another right tackle. So there's like each side has a footing, so to speak, in that they're like, I don't have to budge to what you want because you're great, but I have a backup plan. Rashawn Slater's backup plan is that he could play anywhere, and everybody wants and needs a great left tackle.
Yep.
So that's that, and the Chargers have that backup plan. But it's kind of irritating that it hasn't happened yet, because we talk about it every freaking week.
Especially with the potential of the team, like the forward movement of the team, like that would just be a really big piece to the Chargers. Moving forward from just a playoff run, to a championship team. So
not a playoff run. Just we need to move on from playoff appearance. Okay, we need to get a win.
I think you guys are cool right now.
And I'm hesitant to say we're gonna make a big jump, like it's gonna be a big step. I'm kind of like hoping it's like the Lions, who, they did their rebuild recently, and it was through the draft, getting a bunch of blue chippers, and then also having like a coaching staff that I'm kind of hoping Greg Roman gets fired this year. Like, if we don't do well, I need Greg Roman to leave. I need someone that's going to freaking let it fly. But so
I understand that, but you have the guy that can let the ball fly, but you don't have anybody who can catch it right now besides Ladd McConkey, and he doesn't fly.
Hey,
he kind of hovers in the middle and catches everything.
I think he's kind of fast. I think he's faster than we remember. He also apparently he doesn't want to be called a slot receiver. He's like, I'm not no slot. He wants to be like a power slot. He's like, I can do it anywhere, left, right, middle. I was like, but you fit this archetype. Right, you fit this archetype that we know. The white slot.
Take the compliment and go play ball.
Well, I mean, is it a compliment or is it?
It is
a microaggression.
There's been teams who have won on the back of slot receivers.
Sure,
what I mean.
I'm saying his thing. Yeah, he's like, he sees himself a lot more like Jamar Chase than Wes Welker.
Wait, look, I used to see myself as the best point guard in American Samoa. No, I definitely wasn't. But
what was your all-time top ranking? As far as like best point guard in American Samoa ever.
So okay, this is the thing. When I play basketball, it's the one place that like you can't tell me nothing. Like I know there's like head and shoulders guys above me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not delusional. Okay, no, I probably am, but once I get on the court. But before the game, I know. But once I step on the court, and I think you have to have that mentality, which I don't mind with Ladd McConkey. But when I was on the court, I didn't think anybody was better than me. You might be faster that day, but I'm gonna be smarter. You're gonna be smarter that day. I'm gonna be more physical. And if you're doing something else, I can say this with confidence. There was no better shooter on the court than if I was on the court. There's no better shooter on the court. None.
So at one point, at some point, for a certain amount of time, you were the best point guard in American Samoa.
Every time I stepped on the court. No, again, that's a personal thing, but no, I'd be I'd be so disrespectful to say that. I learned from some of the best point guards in American Samoa. There have been great ones. One of them, Hans Linkilde, the first person I ever saw like really play point guard, and I really was like, man, that's definitely the way I want to play. Like just the way he brought up the ball, he was always dribbling at an angle, like guys are running forward, but he would turn his body and just like it's almost like he was trying to make sure you didn't know where he was looking, and the passes would come like just. And then he played with another dude, which was crazy because they kind of played the same position. But Mike Felice, oh my gosh, he was my actual first high school coach. Mike, I learned a lot from him. Crazy, like learning from guys like that, and then I was able to coach some of the better guys in these open leagues and in high school. Oh man, I don't know if you guys know Cookie. He he played with us. I played against him. I coached against him. One of the, right now he's a little older than me, but I think he could still like just really kill a bunch of dudes on the court younger than him. Linfield Marreco, another. I was me and him about the same age. Man, grew up against Samoa. I don't know if I ever seen anybody like more athletic on a basketball court than Linfield. Honestly, honestly, super athletic. He used to do everybody. He changed the way people used to slap the backboard in high school. Like people, would lay up and they like slap it like that. Linfield's my favorite layup for him was he'd go up forward, lay it up, but at the same time he's spinning and he would slap it backwards as he's falling down.
Yay!
You know what I mean? Like things like that. He's probably one of the strongest I've ever seen on the basketball court too. So, and then the younger guys like probably me and your favorite point guard in American Samoa when we were out there, but Talano Smith.
Yeah.
Great vision, um, relentless. Just he's on the court all the time. Uh, and I'm gonna talk about Noah also his bad things because I can. I coached the kid. But the only thing about Noah is he's always in his head because he's always got something great right before oh, I can do this better. I can do this better. It's like, bro, just do the one thing better first, and then we'll get to that one. But he's always trying to improve. And sometimes I've gotten in his way. But if I had to pick, every time I pick Noah as my point guard, if I'm putting together a team. So there's been some great point guards in American Samoa.
It's the best golfer I golf with, T. Smith.
Don't say that, man. Don't say that. Because now I hope he doesn't listen to this one. Because then he's going to be like, hey.
I'm sending this link to him.
Wow, no, please. He's already, I think he's also good enough to do this, but I have to hear it all the time. I'm not going to admit it to him, but yes, I'm going to admit it on the show. But he also wants to play for the national team golf-wise in American Samoa. He's already played national team basketball, well deserving of that selection. So now he's turned his sights over to playing for the national golf team. And if you guys don't know, in American Samoa, in the South Pacific itself, we have a event that's the equivalent of the Olympics for the world, but in the South Pacifics, they have the Pacific Games, which are the same type of format for the Olympics, but with the islands in the Pacific. So we do have national teams. Yeah, so Noah's sights right now.
If you medal in the Pacific Games,
right,
does that automatically get you into like another thing or into the Olympics somehow?
No, it gets you into another tournament, which is the Asia Championships, I think. That's for basketball, but that's for our like next progression to get into the Olympics as a team without having just a team like other sports. I think you kind of just like if you're good enough, you got to make trials for something and you make it in like track and stuff like that. But for like basketball, I think golf, they have the Asia Pacific tournament that you go to, and you got to win that tournament. And unfortunately, at the moment for us, we'd have to play teams like Australia, because they're on one side of the world. We'd have to play China, Japan, which teams are obviously a bigger pool to pick from, player wise,
Yeah.
and so yeah, but
Uh,
getting away from all that.
yeah, no, Lab McConkey could play X or Z. No,
I mean, he's got the size. He's not your
I,
typical slot size. So I think if you do put him at the outside, he could do some damage. You know what I mean? But I think
yeah.
it's his smarts that and his the way he runs routes.
Mhm.
He's perfect for that slot position.
Crispy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
also think he might have caught a lot of people by surprise, not thinking that he could, be as proficient route running.
right.
So maybe defenses are more aware and cover him a little better. I could see a sophomore slump, but also I could see him, gaining, more physicality than he already has shown, and more speed in year two to kind of keep up with that. I do want to say
Definitely.
I appreciate your knowledge and especially of like the Pacific Games and the national teams and everybody from
Oh man,
Samoa and the Ballers and stuff like that, and being able to remember guys that you played with. That's like
it's incredible.
that's dope.
Man,
Thank you.
again, your uncle is probably one of the greatest basketball players from American Samoa
I
right now.
don't know if like I don't know what's the Stockholm syndrome into believing this, but I do believe that this man is one of the most versatile and fun, sharp
Hey,
shooting, trash
look,
talking basketball players in the history of the
that's
Pacific.
where I got my. I'm telling you, that's where I learned to talk shit. I was my so I named two guys, Mike 56 and Hanson Kilty, were teammates with Lance's uncle, the great Samoa Samoa. We're talking about basketball right now, but he was also, uh, if it was in today's world where they rank people like that, he would have been a 5-star quarterback coming out of California. I know people are like 5 stars. Yes, we would have ranked him as a 5-star quarterback coming out of Carson High School. He went to Wazoo, was amazing there, played with Jack Thompson, and then got a shot to play in Cincinnati. Got himself a Super Bowl ring there. I'm not gonna lie and say he was a starting quarterback. He wasn't, but he was on the team and he got a ring.
Yeah,
So, uh, but he was super athletic. He's been playing ball again from like Carson. If you go back and look at like Carson High School's statistics, things like that, Samoa was also killing that basketball out there. So that was my introduction into seeing like high performance basketball, like high skill basketball in American Samoa. There's a team called Shoe Tree. Literally everybody on that
yeah.
team was on the national team. It was crazy. It's like they all just got together and played. And Samoa was the loudest and brightest star on that team when he was playing. I remember the first time I ever saw him play was at Lions Park. Shout out to Lions Park. You guys ever played at Lions Park before? You're probably stronger in life than you are ever.
It's our little Ruckers
Right, right. You're probably
next to
you're
the tennis
probably
court and the beach.
yeah, right. You're probably super strong inside if you played at Lions Park for more than a year. But man, I remember getting there and those guys were there, and then another dude on the court, which is funny. He was for folks who aren't Samoan, he was studying to be a pastor in one of the seminary schools in Samoa, but he had come from the States. His name was Fale or House. Guy had to be at least, he was like, I want to say 6'3", but he was super athletic. He could play ball, but because he was from the States, he talked shit too. But Samoa, him and Samoa would have the battles. Like every time Sam would hit a three or was about to attempt a three, he's like Curry. You know how Curry turned around after he put it up without looking at it going in? Sam would do the same thing. He'd shoot it, and he'd be like, "That one's for your mama," and it would go in, and oh, that would start it. That would start it. That one's for your mama. He goes, "Oh, like this. Watch your eye." Oh man, I can hear it like it was yesterday. Oh
For your
man,
eye.
and
Boop.
that's where I got it from, man. Like I could be so quiet on the court, but as soon as you start talking, that's it. Okay, we're gonna talk, but don't get your feelings hurt. Like, and that's
Yeah.
how Samoa was. That's how Samoa was. Like,
Don't get your feelings hurt. This
right?
is
Because after
not.
the game, Samoa, that's gonna be your best friend after the game. He's
Mm,
super, super, super sociable. Uh, man, great motivator too. Because he always was like, I played for a different high school. He coached at Leon. I played for Marist. but he was always like, bro, you got to be shooting more. You're the best shooter out there. So I said, that really picked my head up. I was like, best shooter in Samoa is telling me I'm the best shooter on the court. That's it. No one's getting the ball back. But yeah, guys like that, like, man, I was able to watch guys like that. And like you said, that's like the equivalent to some kid in New York being able to watch games at like Rucker, or kids over here in California being able to go to Venice and watch greats play at Venice. And in Hawaii, it was called Pocky Park. It was this basketball court in Waikiki behind the firehouse there. Because it's in Waikiki, a lot of the pro players, whether they be NBA or from like the overseas leagues, they would come to Pocky Park and they would play there. So you could literally go outside the fire station and just watch these NBA guys on their summer vacations playing ball over there, because they'd have like, high skilled pickup games. So pretty dope, pretty dope. Loved it.
This guy got to play ball with a bunch of legends. Jeez. Let's talk about.
See, right there, you were supposed to say, speaking of legends, Pete Carroll was. You like that? You like that? You know what I don't like? You know what I don't appreciate? I don't appreciate another legend talking about me and you being delusional about our teams. I don't appreciate that.
What happened?
Another legend from a podcast that we are related to. I call him a legend because I respect him. One of the best lyricists in the game. You know what I mean? Super funny guy. But I didn't think it was very funny when he was speaking about both of us being delusional about our teams. I won't say any names, but he wears glasses and has a ponytail. Raps well. I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it, especially with
ponytail.
Especially with his team having to deal with a lot of turnover right now and overpaying for a mediocre quarterback. I don't like it. I don't like the slander.
Oh man, how did we forget Brock Purdy got paid like $1 billion? How much?
Because
whatever.
He sucks. Because he sucks.
Because the Niners were desperate for a good quarterback because they know what it's like to not have a good quarterback.
That is true.
Cepha said what?
Is that his name?
No. He's like, listen to the Ballinesian Podcast for these delusional propaganda.
Bro, exactly. I put that on to do my workout today. Like, usually I listen to music, hit the weights and do what I do. When I turn that on, I decided to turn that on today and be like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Listen to Polytickin, you know what I mean? It's always a good laugh, and like whatever they talk about, like a lot of the stuff is positive after they get through all the catch-ups where you're just laughing nonstop. But nope. I was hit with some propaganda, if I want to say, just some 49er propaganda, lies and slander coming from there. Look, I'm even sticking. This is how bad it was. I'm sticking up for the Chargers too. That's wild. And even worse is there was a Raiders fan next to him on the podcast that just laughed. He didn't scoff. He didn't like sarcastically laugh. He was enjoying it. Marcus. Be a Raider, buddy. Be a Raider. You should have turned the podcast off at that moment.
Shut it down. Sometimes I'm recording with them doing the Polytickin podcast and I'm just laughing and I forget that I'm like supposed to contribute. They're just talking shit to each other back and forth or like making good points.
But that's so that whole intro to it, like I was about to come on without my beanie because I'm not ashamed of it, but I am bald. But then you guys are now known as the bald head, the beard, and the glasses. So
bald, beard, glasses, and beanie.
Yeah, right. So now, you know what? I'm just gonna carry to the beanie. I'll let Marcus have the bald guy because then it'd be just a mirror of bald guy
and balls.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. No, we don't have that.
We're gonna get Marcus on here next week or something to talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Speaking of legends, Pete Carroll out here trying to pin people on the practice field, tackling people. What's going on? What's going on in Raiders OTAs in camp?
Hey man, that's what OTAs are for. You get in there, you get into these workouts, and it's a good it's a good warm up before you get into mandatory workouts. So, Pete Carroll's keeping it a little light, getting out there. We've all seen Pete Carroll, whatever team he's coaching, he's still out there uh, working out with the guys, doing drills, push-ups, running sprints. We've seen when he was in Seattle. So, his linemen was on the ground and he kind of snuck up onto him and pinned him to the ground, was wrestling with them. The guy really, he's pretty strong. Yeah. Hey, Pete Carroll's pretty strong. I know the dude might have been able to like put some effort into it, more effort, and might have hurt Pete Carroll, but
What
for the
a
most part,
goofball.
yeah, that's great. That's great to see.
You think that's great?
I do, man. I'm like that with my team, man. When I was coaching, like, if it's time to joke, it's time to joke. If it's time to play, it's time to play. And Pete Carroll knows that, so keeping it light, keeping his team happy, relatable to his guys. So it's great to see, man. It's great to see.
I'm messing. Like, where's the discipline? This is not that Raider excellence. Not. It's good to have like
right,
time to bond, I guess, before things get serious, before things lock in.
In his mid-70s, and he's still really out there. Like, it's impressive for a guy to be out there, kind of still like going through drills with these guys. The fun stuff is fun, but to see him out there, like, of course, he's not doing every drill with them or like full on the drill, but
Jim Harbaugh,
to be out there and be active with the guys, it's great to see. And I know not everybody's the same, but I know a lot of the guys in the team like seeing that. He's out there with them and shoulder to shoulder. So good to see. Good to see. Love
good
to
vibes
see.
Right now, or is there anything?
Good vibes, man. Still, just like I said, Christian Wilkins is still in a boot right now. So there might be a possibility of another like minor surgery. They're saying, of course, it's minor surgery because they don't know yet, and they don't want to like worry the fans and be like, "Oh no, all this money we get."
They're underselling it, or
no? Because Pete Carroll's also come on and like that's probably one of the things that are concerning to him at the moment with OTAs going on, and then mandatory practices coming up is not having Christian Wilkins out there, and seeing him in the boot is a little concerning, knowing that he might have to go into surgery, and he's going to be a big piece of the turnaround that they're expecting this year. So they did get guys. They re-signed Butler in there. They got Kuntz back on the end. They drafted some super athletic defensive tackles. I was hoping to see the Samoan dude they signed from Australia play a little D tackle. Maybe he could get some reps in this year through that, but they apparently have moved him to guard. It's gonna be wild to see a 6'6", 304. No, I guess it's not wild.
That's like Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
That's a big, I mean, that's good.
That's jackass. So they moved him to guard, and that's
from D tackle.
From D tackle to guard. D tackle to guard.
Nice.
I mean, it's kind of just like flipping positions, like flipping over on the line. Like, all right, I'm just gonna go and play the person that I was trying to beat up earlier. I'm playing his position now, so
that helped. I mean, that could be super helpful to go from like the opposite side and having that knowledge of what the people that are trying to tackle you or people that are trying to blow up your stuff.
He's got half of it down. I mean, the athletic part, because he's 6'6", 340, and like he was playing rugby at the time. That's man. Hey,
I'm always surprised at how long it's been since a rugby player has transitioned to the NFL successfully. Like, I hear the stories and it's always like, oh, this guy is going to go, he's going to do it. But I feel like it would transfer over more. Like, it'd be,
when they come over and stuff. Yeah, when they come over, a lot of people expect them to be skill players. Like, hey, he runs the ball in rugby, plug him at running back or put him at receiver or put him at tight end. Guys like that, but like not all of them do that. So when they come over, sometimes it fails because they're expected to be that guy. But I mean,
what Americans think rugby players are, not knowing that there's other positions or
So I'm glad they didn't try to make him a tight end, because at 6'6", 340, and the way he was running the ball out there, and like I could see a team. Yeah, I could see a team like, oh, hey, he's super athletic. He's not like a sloppy 340. He's built like and
that's what I'm saying.
Stick him at tight end. No, don't stick him at tight end.
That's like Darnell Washington. The
You think?
Steelers
Oh
tight end
my
looks like a
gosh,
tackle.
he is. Oh my gosh, he's monstrous. Like,
Yeah.
whoo.
But that hasn't transferred over. Darnell Washington isn't like a successful quarter,
Well,
like tight end.
he's successful in the way that they use him as a blocking tight end a lot.
Sure.
Like, they still have Firemouth who they throw to, and Washington will get a couple of passes, but he's mainly used as a blocking tight end, and so like, yeah.
Sixth lineman
Right,
catch.
exactly. And speaking of tight ends, another good story coming out of OTAs is Michael Mayer. A lot of people were talking about him being traded or used as trade bait at least because his skill position, his skill position, his skill set for the position is different. Like he catches the ball, he's big, he can block a little. Like he pretty much mirrors Brock Bowers, only that Brock Bowers kind of does it at a little bit higher rate.
And a lot earlier. Yeah.
Right.
Michael Mayer could be a starting tight end.
No, that's why he's been considered um the Raiders' best trade asset. But word is that he's working really well with the offense out there. They're running a lot of 12 sets, a lot of 13.
Okay.
And they think that it might be beneficial for the Raiders head office thinks it's beneficial that he stayed with the Raiders, and either is Bowers backup or they play him together with Bowers, in different sets, or Bowers can play the H back or even flex out to the outside. So
what round did you guys get Michael Mayer in?
Second round.
Oof. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, but hitting on Bowers does kind of negate some of that. Like,
no, for sure. But Michael Mayer too, without the mental issues that he was having, we'll say mental issues.
That sounds so bad.
Mental
health.
Well, with the issues, the internal issues he was dealing with.
The man's demons. What is the internal demons?
Diarrhea. Without the time he took off last year, having to deal with some stuff that he was dealing with, he was actually had a couple of games that he was stringing together before that happened, and it looked like people were really looking at him to come back the next year and follow it up with a breakout year. That was his trajectory. He was tracking to be another great tight end, like worth the pick that they took him at. Just so happens that they came up next year and the Raiders were able to get Brock Bowers. And, shout out to Telesco for seeing what everybody else saw, but didn't think the Raiders were going to take him. And he jumped at the chance to get a top. What was he last year? I got to say he's at least top 10 player last year, like, especially in rookies. Rookies, take it easy. Not the whole
most catches by any rookie ever.
That's what I'm saying.
Not just tight ends,
and not just like 2-yard catches, dump offs or anything like that. Yeah. Like he was out there producing big time for them.
With Gardner Minshew,
right,
is the thing.
Exactly.
That's Brock Bowers could be through the roof this year with a freaking quarterback with a higher floor like Geno Smith.
If you see a lot of his catches are like overthrows where he's stretching out to get it, or he has to readjust as the pass is coming.
Do something amazing.
Right. Or like he catches the ball out of position and then makes like an 8-yard run. Right. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
You got to Odell every catch because you're playing with Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, man. So to see him and Mike Mayer out there together, which is also pretty cool because from the time they came into college, playing Mike Mayer being older than Brock Bowers by a year, but they come into the college ranks together, and from the time they were in there, they were both ranked 1 and 2 at the tight end position in the country.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, like,
you couldn't 1 and 2 on the Raiders depth chart.
Right. You couldn't talk about the other without talking about the other when they were in college. Mike Mayer obviously had a better senior season when he was there. Like, he killed it, and that's why the Raiders were happy to take him when they took him. Like, he was amazing. He was the best tight end that year. Brock Bowers did get hurt that year, then came back the next and, did what he did, and the Raiders ended up taking him before the Chargers could. So I'm so happy. Uh, yeah, super crazy. That's all the news really right now going on
Nice.
with the Raiders. Just a lot of people calling somebody ranked
Ranked?
JJ McCarthy and Justin Fields ahead of Geno Smith in one of their list of top quarterbacks in the league.
Can't do that.
That's wild.
That's tough.
That's wild.
We should do. You want to rank the quarterbacks next week?
Oh yeah, I'll give you my number one right now.
Anyways.
No, Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes.
that would be crazy to have us rank the quarterbacks and
That'd be cool. Let's do that. Let's do that.
We got to figure out events and oh my gosh, excuse me. Events that are coming up, and then have the episodes kind of around those two. Aaron Rodgers signed. Finally announces that he's signing with the Steelers, and he did it. Now the Steelers have a quarterback, and we can get over this. It's a 1-year contract for $13 million, and it could be up to $19 million. And then they can, I guess next year, decide if they want to extend him or move on to a new quarterback. The Steelers, for a long time, the owner had said he's comfortable that Aaron Rodgers was going to sign. And I guess it happened. So now it's not like a big deal anymore, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, the actual, I guess, drama about it kind of died down when a lot of the other quarterbacks had gotten signed and the draft was done with. And I think people just expected him to sign with Pittsburgh anyway. Like, it was kind of like the writing on the wall, or like it was
The
inevitable.
only situation
Right,
left, really? Yeah. Oh,
right.
yeah. Okay.
So people were like, well, he's going to sign, so we're just going to wait to see when he signs, how much they sign him for, and how long they're going to keep him. And once that happened, now people are just like, well, I'm going from now on to try and not bash Aaron Rodgers as a player. As a person, I think he's ridiculous. But as a player, I don't think he's as mobile as
Right.
he was, but I do think he still has skills serviceable. He'll have DK there. A lot of people within the Pittsburgh organization, a lot of the guys that cover the reporters, the beat reporters that cover Pittsburgh, think that with the contract that he signed and the money that he's been given, it's supposed to signal a future signing of another wide receiver. So yeah.
Okay.
So
Alan Lazard
or Cooper is still not signed.
Amari Cooper?
Yeah, still not signed.
Okay, not exciting, but still good.
So he's out there snorting, boat riding, the guy in New England, but they might if they release him, But so the signing, a lot of guys think that are tied to the Steelers is signaling another signing of a wide receiver to come to pair with DK Metcalf, Freiermuth, Jalen Warren, who they got in the backfield. They got another running back there. Did they sign someone or did they draft someone?
The Steelers?
What was it? Yeah.
I think they drafted someone. Caleb Johnson?
Oh, yeah. He's pretty good. He was pretty good in college. I thought they were going to make a run at Chubbs, but the word coming out of Chubbs camp, Texans. Did he sign already?
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to be a pretty good backfield. Wow.
Is Joe Mixon out there?
He's still out there.
Okay, damn. Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb. What is a 2015 fantasy team?
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have a lot of Aaron Rodgers kind of centric games on the schedule. Their first game of the season is against Aaron Rodgers' former team from last year, the New York Jets in New York. They're going to be playing the NFC North. So he's going to have Minnesota. He's going to have the Bears, which he owns. He's going to get to play the Packers once. Not in Green Bay. This is going to be in Pittsburgh. And then who's the other? The Lions. That'll be fun. But this is this is like a
Revenge tour?
old. It's. I mean, it's supposed to be, right?
No,
It could be,
like
but
a
he's
return
old.
tour. Yeah,
He's old. He's not the same Aaron
he
Rodgers.
is.
He's not the same
He's
Aaron
not.
Rodgers that could roll out, escape pressure, fling it downfield. He's more like Park and Bark. He's more like Kirk Cousins. He's more like
Yeah. Hey,
stand
he was pretty
there.
fast too. People don't understand that Aaron Rodgers was
He
pretty fast
was.
when he
Yeah,
got out of the pocket and he
sure.
started to take off. He was pretty fast.
$10 million guaranteed, can be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. After passing, yeah, he just needed to pass a physical on Saturday. The other thing is, like, his first year with the New York Jets, which was now 2 years ago, he tore his Achilles, right? And then so last year he had recovered from his Achilles and was like getting back into football. So the only thing I can think is that this year is a lot better than last year's production, right? And you could say the team is better than the Jets. I mean, there's not a Garrett Wilson. You got a DK Metcalf who's going to stretch it, but running backs are like not super flashy, but still very good. Who's the Uso there?
Jalen Warren.
Yeah, Jalen Warren, and now you have a rookie, so it could be better. The offensive line, I hope they have Troy Faltano this year. So I mean, it could be a good situation roster wise. Not a lot of wide receivers though, right? After DK Metcalf, it's like Calvin Austin.
No, I know they were also like talking about bringing Deontay Johnson back. So
hell no,
that could be an option.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers there. I don't know about the expectations. What do you think the overall expectations, and then what are your personal ones? Because I think this could be good, better than definitely better than the Jets last year, because I think he's a little bit more healed, and maybe Mike Tomlin is the coach to control Aaron Rodgers enough to be like, whatever you do outside of here, keep it outside of here. Don't bring us into outside stuff in your interviews and stuff. Maybe he can lay the line, but maybe Aaron Rodgers is like, I'm here for 1 year. I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna be the enigma that I am. So it's gonna be something to watch. It's gonna be something to like keep tabs on. How crazy does Mike Tomlin look today? How much is Aaron Rodgers making him tear his hair out or whatever? So we'll definitely be continuing to keep an eye on that. Even though, I mean, we don't have to actually. We can decide right now to be done with Aaron Rodgers, and if he does good stuff this year, that's cool. Yeah, okay. All right. He's gonna be like our Kanye West. We just forget he exists. He just spouts off every once in a while. But the Steeler fans, I know, man. The Steeler fans are happy that at least they don't have to go Mason Rudolph, right? And it's a 1 year. It's short. It's not a lot of money.
They're happy for the same reason Raiders were happy when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't have no other reason to be happy. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, well, we got Jimmy. Yay!
The alternative was like another year of Tim Couch or something. Like it's
right. So now it's like, oh well, we got Aaron Rodgers. We've seen what he's capable of. Mm-hmm. So yay, let's give him a chance.
This is like should be his farewell tour. It'd be weird if he stayed for another 2 years.
I hope he doesn't become a coach, because he might be the only other coach that I hate other than Sirianni. So yeah,
I ain't got time for that. That's going to do it for us. NBA Finals now tied 1-1 after the Pacers beat the Thunder in Game 1. Surprising. Halliburton 0.3. But then you mentioned that the Thunder then won by 16 the next game, so it's like it really shows that you think Game 1 was a fluke or something like that. And then how do you think? What game is this series ending?
I think OKC came out unprepared but overconfident. Because they were killing in the first. I think they were up.
They were up 10, 15 in the third.
Yeah. So, I think it was just it was a combination of them just like being overconfident, not prepared for like the energy, because they were up and down the court, and they play full court defense, miss bucket, made bucket. They a lot of those guys pick up full court. So, but the energy, especially if you're overhyped, before a game, like you can get zapped from your energy, a lot of your energy from that. and then going out there and trying to run up and down the court the whole game. Um, and also because Indiana, they're confident in themselves and they never give up. And that's the thing about Indiana. You can't stop playing because Indiana never stops playing. They believe that whether they're
Mhm.
down, obviously, whether they're down 15, 20, they're down three or down by one, they always have a chance to win. And that's a great thing to have on your team, that kind of confidence and
Nice.
belief in each other. So I think that was the combination. But then I think they were able to settle down. OKC was able to settle down the second game, do what they needed to do. They controlled the pace again. I've said this time and time again. The only way Indiana can win the series is if they're the one dictating the pace, whether it be whether they speed it up or whether they slow it down. But they got to be the ones dictating the pace, and they weren't able to do that in the second game. OKC again with their stifling defense, just they're so they're so lengthy at every position. It's crazy. Not like height wise, because like their tallest player is Chet, of course, who's super tall on the starting lineup, and then I think the next tallest player is like 6'7", maybe 6'6" in their starting lineup. Um, but then you get guys like Shy, who's at the top, who's six. That's your point guard at 6'5", 6'6", with lengthy arms, and so they can cover a lot of ground on defense while on the court. So that helps a lot, and I think that's how the rest of the series is gonna go. I think OKC is gonna just outrun them on the court on offense, and then just clamp them up on defense. So
And they're going to Indiana now, yeah,
they're going to Indiana.
for games 3 and 4. What game 3 is on Wednesday. Um,
So they needed to win. They needed to lose
but
one
yeah,
to get back to OKC to win in OKC. Not that I'm saying that's what's going to happen in
but
five,
okay,
but
so you still got OKC in 5, meaning they
I do.
beat both of the Indy games and then win
And
it
then the
in
last one, I do.
Oklahoma. All right. Yeah, it definitely was surprising for game 1 to end that way, but you factor that into the gentleman's sweep. You give them one game, and then didn't the Lakers give up the first game to New Jersey or something?
Yeah, I mean, and then the refs gave LA the
And
rest of
then
the
the
game.
refs
So
made sure
yeah,
things got done right.
duh,
Don't
duh.
leave it up to the teams.
No, hey, Jason
Stupid.
Kidd, Vince Carter, Kenya Martin. Ooh, that is a lineup,
What was it?
man.
Philly? Was it Philly? No, it
That
might have
had
been
who? They
that
won one when
that
he
won the
stepped
first
over
game.
Tyronn Lue. Yeah,
That okay, so that was
yeah,
the series. The Lakers
that was
gave
the
up
one
game 1 versus
where AI hit the three over Tyronn Lue and
and then
stepped over
stepped
him.
over him.
Yeah,
Rude,
and
man.
then
Ty Lue was like, "Let me make sure I stay out of your way," and they stepped right over him. I was like, "Bro,
Ty
get
Lue,
up and
he tried to
take a shot in
sprain
front of his face."
AI's ankle on purpose. So
I
yeah.
don't know about that.
Like you didn't see
I,
it. Like when
I
AI
didn't
was
see it.
trying to step to the side, Tyronn Lue grabbed his ankle. Was like, "Ugh!" And
Sounds like AI.
then
Uh, the before we do shout outs, I want to try to I was talking to Marcus and I was talking to you about documenting and getting stuff ready to go to Super Bowl 60, which is in Bay Area this February. And Marcus
also
mentioned Doc.
shout out to shout out to the bald head and the beard for motivating us to. Oh, sorry, bald head and the glasses for motivating us to get to the Super Bowl. That
Yeah,
it tells when we talk about it, it's like yeah, we believe it, but when those two are pushing like someone else is pushing, it's kind of like you know what, fuck it, yeah, let's go to the Super Bowl. So shout out to them too.
to be clear, we are not buying tickets to go and watch the Super
No,
Bowl.
no, 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 no. I mean, if someone wants to gift us tickets,
Yeah, yeah, that would be crazy. If you need some like flag wavers or halftime peace movers
right,
or
right.
or a guard security
Hey,
ramp,
if you need me to sell peanuts, you let me know.
hey, we'll do it. We'll take time off of work and make sure to be down there to support you
Right.
guys. But being there in the city that the Super Bowl is happening, and just the mix of not only the game but the rest of the league that's around there, the rest of the people, the stars, the
Yeah.
legends, the fans, is
We'll be
kind of like a
tailgating,
dream. It's a dream come true as far as like experiences for football fans, and that's
Yep.
definitely something we want to try to get out there and document.
Like when it was in Vegas, you know what was cool to see? Uh Samoan Raider. I don't know if you follow him, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. So like anytime they have something in Vegas and it's
Mhm,
like NFL related, he's out there like interviewing people. Like I
mhm.
just seen on his pod, he had met up with Jackson Powers. That's pretty cool. You know, he was invited to like they had a meet and greet with a couple Raiders players. He was there, and then during the Super Bowl, he was out there like interviewing people. That's pretty dope, and that's what we're trying to get at. Like when we talk about being at the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, stuff like that. Being able to meet, talk to, interview the people that are going to be around Super Bowl week, and then trying to figure out. So this is what we're documenting, right? Figure out who we have to talk to try to get some passes.
For
Figure
sure.
out travel to get down there, lodging and food. Okay. Steps we have to do. Marcus has been showing us Notion, which is like a productivity app, and like these certain tasks or projects, and then certain tasks that need to be accomplished to make this project success. So yeah, starting next week at the end of every episode, we're going to kind of talk about our plan for this trip and just try to be consistent on keeping that at the forefront of our minds, and then also lining up things we need to do, how we need to do them, and then checking them off and making sure this is a success so we can you got to plan well for things to go
Yeah,
as smooth as possible, because even though
definitely.
it doesn't matter how you plan it, when you do trips like this, something is going to go off the walls, but as long as you have like stuff prepared, it's not
Yeah,
as hectic. It
yeah,
doesn't turn into like something that ends the mission, whatnot. So
definitely.
definitely preparing, and then uh yeah, figuring out what we have to do. So,
For
but
sure.
as you
We'll be
guys listening to this, as we're talking about it and listening to this for the first time ourselves, definitely, if anything stands out that we don't hit that we should,
yeah, shoot us
message that in,
ideas.
because it's like, oh, you guys aren't thinking about certain travel times at that time. Oh shit, driving in February down from
Yeah,
Washington to Oregon to California. Certain roadblocks or things like that we should be looking out for. Because right now, all I'm thinking is at the floor of it, we drive down, sleep in the car, and shower at a truck stop. Like gritty, it's
yeah,
that, and that could be cheap as far as funding and stuff. But if we can figure out ways for it to be more comfortable, more productive, maybe have a place where we can headquarter and bounce out of that's close to some of these stuff, then that is, I think, going to help make us more successful.
definitely. And we could probably get a fundraise like before we get there. So if you guys have any ideas, like I'll put together like for every like dollar you raise, Lance is gonna run a mile. You know what I mean? We'll put it out there. If you guys want to see
Damn,
Lance,
$1 a mile.
that's just for example,
A
you
dollar
know.
a mile. What's your mile time right now?
Bah!
I wanted to say this. We were talking about running and physical fitness and PE classes
Uh,
earlier, and I held back from mentioning. I was waiting to think into the conversation somehow, but I was humble. My fastest
oh,
ever mile was at Tafuna High School, around OMV 3 times for JROTC. It was 6 minutes and 36 seconds.
there's no, nah, not even at my
And
fittest.
the only reason that I did that, I was a freshman. First of all, I've been fat my entire childhood. And I was starting to get like thin out a little bit because I
Yeah,
moved to
yeah,
Samoa. I was sweating.
and it was hot.
But also, yeah. But also, we played all the time. Like, I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But growing up, like, oh, you're fat. I always thought that, it was impossible for me to do physical stuff because I would always be limited. There were two senior football players. I want to say Elder Tuyasopo, and
Eldon, Eldon,
Eldon,
yeah.
and I think the starting linebacker in 2003. I forget his name, but they were in my JROTC company. Also, we only had freshmen and seniors. They somehow didn't have enough sophomores and juniors my first year in ROTC. So all the freshmen had to have like command positions and stuff like that. So we all got like promoted hella quick. It was crazy. But these seniors, the starting wide receiver and
Eaters.
starting linebacker on the South Florida High School football team, 2003, were talking smack to each other as we walked out from the ROTC at South Florida High School next door to the OMV. They were talking trash the entire time, and they were like, I'll race you. I'm going to beat you in this, or saying whatever. They took off sprinting, and I just took off sprinting behind them. They were trying to beat each other so badly. And the track at OMV has got a little bit of a hill on the backside, but then it comes down and then it's flat as you go all the way.
It's gravelly. The gravel, if you fall, that's your legs.
Fall. They were going so fast. And I just like blanked off and I was like, okay, just follow them. If you follow them as long as you can, these are the most athletic guys in the freaking school. If you follow them for as long as you can, you'll have a good score. And they sprinted the whole first third of a mile. And they tied. They freaking tied after one lap. But they stopped running after one lap. They kind of just slowed down and started jogging. Bro, I sprinted right past them and just fucking kept my head down. And when I finished my mile, bro, I fell down to the ground and they had to roll me off of the track so other people wouldn't run. Our first class Bataltia was like, come on, man, come on. You got to move out the way, bro.
There's no way.
6 minutes, 36, 26?
That's crazy. I think at my fittest, my best mile might have been around like maybe 9 minutes or 10.
Yeah. Well, and then in the Army, they make you run at 8 minutes. They make you run 2 miles, 8 minutes each, right? There's like a fifth. There's a fifth. Yeah, no, I'm saying that was the toughest part of the physical fitness test.
Yeah, with my time, I guess I'm not going.
Yeah, it sucked. I should have transferred to the bike ride or the walk or something.
I heard they made it longer for them.
Damn.
Like the time is like it's like a little bit more lax.
Oh, the time is longer?
Yeah.
I thought you meant they made the run longer.
No,
like it's
no,
2.5 miles now. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
I heard they added some time for them.
Oh, so, yeah, maybe. Like, well, no, there's also like age standards. So if you're in a certain bracket, your time is 15 minutes, 56 seconds. But if you're older, it's 6 minutes and 10 seconds. If you're older, it's 6 minutes.
But for basic though, not just for the.
Well, basic is lax too. Basic is like.
That's what I mean.
You won't. Well, I mean, it's been that way since I was in, because in basic you have one set of standards you need to get to, and then when you graduate basic and go to your job training, then you also have a little more difficult, which is like the actual standard of everyday Army. So it gets tougher, especially if you're younger. You're not in some of the age brackets that get more lax time, have to do less push-ups, have to do less sit-ups or something like that. But keep it strong. All volunteer Army. That's freaking gangster.
Nah, you know what? I didn't learn, like they do it here in the States, but they didn't do it in Samoa when we were in high school or elementary. But they do it. We adopted it from Australia actually, because they were coming over and teaching us like the training for it to be a coach, coaching clinics. And so they were teaching us methods of like physical fitness for our team, how to gauge it, how to train them on it. So they introduced us to the beep test. You know what the beep test is?
I think you're the one that told me about the beep test.
Oh yeah, so
I didn't know before that. Wait, the beep is you have to touch the line by the time
baseline to baseline, yeah,
and it speeds up.
Yeah, it speeds up after a while. So I was like, oh man. And when we introduced that to the under 19 team, they were like, "What the hell is this?"
Some of them were like, torture. Full length suicide runs.
I had to lie to them too. They were like, "Coach, if you don't make this, you're not going."
Oh wow! What a motivator!
I had kids throwing up on the sideline like, I don't know if I can make the time, because it's like, do your best, we'll see. Bro, it's wild. So my niece though, she comes home from elementary. She goes, "Oh, we're gonna do I forgot what the actual name for it is." I was like, "Oh, the beep test." She goes, "Huh?" I was like, "You start on a beep and you got to make it to the baseline by a beep, right?" She goes, "Yeah, that one." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, the beep test." And she was like, "Oh, I forgot what her time was," and I was like, "Man, that's embarrassing. I don't think I could have done that."
Oh, I was like, she told me her time, and I was like, that's embarrassing.
No,
You're like, oh,
no.
that's embarrassing for me because it's a lot longer than I would have gone.
For me, she's like 9, right? She's like 9. I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's not
Keep
bad.
it up,
But
keep it up, keep it up. Hey,
uh,
we should go. Hey,
no,
we might have to run the
no,
beep test, dog.
no,
Bro, we gotta run the beep test.
bro, I
Gotta...
can't even. The only thing that runs on my body is my nose. Uh, there's no running in this body.
No, you're gonna be on a basketball court, and you're gonna be like, when I'm on the court, number one on the island.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, my card number 1 over here in this circle. I'm not moving. Pass me the ball. I'm not moving.
Park and bark. Aaron Rodgers
Oh,
from the corner.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. From half court. Shoot from half court.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. As far as road to the Super Bowl 60. If you're listening to this, send in your suggestions on what we should do next week. We'll have a couple of things each where we think like, okay, things we have to plan for. All right, and then we'll talk about it at the end of next week.
I like it. I like it.
Shout out to Levasa Island Apparel, brother.
Oh,
You right?
Man, I got some shorts from them. Amazing,
How
man.
they feeling?
Amazing.
How they feeling? How they
They're
look?
good,
How they
man.
sitting?
They look amazing. You know what I mean?
Which pair did you get?
The pink paisley, gray.
Those are the ones I want to
Gray
get.
Yeah, those are fire. And then with every order you get
Is that sticker?
Sticker. I got the.
Oh, it's got the tattoo designs on the lips.
Yeah. What camera?
That's such a suggestively sexy, juicy looking like.
I mean,
lip bite.
Those are the only kind of lips I get. Suggestively sexy. So you know what I mean. Oh, Lance, don't make me say things like that.
Hey. Yeah, put it in front of your face
yeah.
or like on your chest. Yeah. Levasa, okay. Oh, okay. The package is coming with stickers and stuff. That's dope.
There's 2 more, but I put them on my car. The other one says Polynesian, and the other one says it was the South Pacific one that's on the t-shirts, the original South Pacific design. So, yeah, man, shout out to Levasa for putting the orders are put together very nicely. They ship super quick. You know what I mean? It got here within probably a week of my order.
Nice.
Maybe I just got it on the day he was going over to put all the orders in, but yeah, it didn't take long to get here. The shorts are comfortable. It's summertime. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shout out to Levasa, man. Also, shout out to Cal football and Coach Vic Toto and all the other Pacifica coaches on the coaching staff. They're putting together a really great recruiting class for 2026. Couple poly kids that they just signed who are pretty big, not just in California but in the country. 4-star athletes who are of Polynesian descent are signing with Cal. You know, they're really showing out. They've got some pretty good guys going there right now. Shout out to Sac State as well. Their new coaching staff doing the thing. They're not actually what do they call Division 1 AA now? It's the championship league. Yeah. They're making their way to the higher division where all your favorite teams play. But right now they're signing a lot of guys. They were able to sign former 4-star, 5-star quarterback. What's his name? Jalen Rashada. Sorry, from depending on who you ask, he was going to be one of the great quarterbacks. Coming out of high school, he started with Ohio State. Then he went to Miami, and then Arizona State, and so now he's with I think Sac State, which is pretty cool to see. Mike Vick was also talked about. Like they're doing really good. Before Mike Vick signed with Norfolk State, he was on the docket to sign with Sac State. So like they're really moving, but they've got a couple guys that they transfer through the transfer portal. Yeah, they're doing big things. Great to see, man. It's great to see. So shout out to these California teams that are showing out right now. Of course, USC with the number 1 recruiting class in the country. They're signing all the big poly names out of California. They're taking their recruiting strategy and going back to what they did back in the day when USC was at the top of the game with everybody else, top of college football, and they're
I
signing
can't say
the
it like that.
because they're not right now.
I know, but why can't you say it like that?
I don't know if you guys saw last year when they played Notre Dame. Anyway, no, they're signing like but they got one of the best D tackles in the country, Tom of Tongan descent. He's signing with them. Who they have? They have a 5-star offensive lineman that they signed. Can't remember his name.
This is just Cal?
No, this is SC right now. So those two signed to SC. They are in the running for easily probably one of the, or if not the best linebacker on the West Coast. He transferred from California to play in Kahuku. Chalanoili. He's cut his list down to 2 schools, which are 2 rival schools from California, UCLA and USC. USC, they just had their like big event for official visits, and they showed out, man. And from the looks of it, because he had a good time at UCLA, well, from the looks of it, and all the guys that they had together at this recruiting event, they had like maybe about 6, 7 polys together. They look like they're having fun just on the recruiting trip alone, taking pictures in uniforms. I have a feeling that Talanoili ends up at USC. Yeah,
Nice.
there's a big Polynesian resurgence going on at USC. The school itself right now, football wise, with recruiting, they still have to play the games this year, but recruiting wise, having the number 1 recruiting class is one of the best ways to get back to where all the fans remember USC being at, where Notre Dame is at right now. But yeah, so yeah, good for them. Good for them.
Thanks for your shout outs, Forrest.
You're welcome.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you want us to shout somebody out in your life, shoot us an email or a DM. Email at ballinesian@gmail.com. DM us at Ballinesian on Instagram and TikTok. Let us know topics you want us to talk about or what do you think an important story is. We can research and give you our takes. But thank you guys for staying with us this episode of the Ballinesian Podcast here on the Polytickin Network, sponsored by Livasa Island Apparel. We'll see you guys next time. We're going to be releasing Wednesday mornings now.
Hell yeah.
New Wednesday mornings. Kind of filtering everything in show-wise for the different podcasts for the network. But yeah, Wednesday mornings. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. We'll see you guys next week. Stay hydrated, because it's hot. Bruh.
I'm not gonna
I don't know how we didn't mention that. It's freaking 105 degrees.
Yeah.
Yo, drink that water. Yeah, stay hydrated. Stay blessed. Stay balling. Love and light. Peace.
Except when the team sucks.
Hey, relax. Today's show, as always, sponsored by LivasaIslandApparel.com. For gear that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. Put on for the culture. Catch the wave at LivasaIslandApparel.com.